Star Trek and World War III, in addition to many other insane predictions that Star Trek has made. We just made a video about it. You should go watch that if you haven't seen it. But if you have seen it, you're watching this. Shane, let's talk about it, my bro.
Yeah, the idea was interesting. So, Star Trek World War III. It's been something that was kind of in the background history of Star Trek. It was like we knew it was there, didn't really think about it coming up, and then we realized. You and I were talking about it a couple months ago. Some guy was talking about the China 2025 plan for them to basically, become this world power, the world power for manufacturing. And then we realized that didn't Star Trek say 2026 was the year World War III began? And all of a sudden this like idea started coming in our heads like, well, okay, so what's going on in the world? Or, and then we started looking at like genetics and the eugenics wars, which happened in the 90s in Star Trek. And we started matching that up to there were no eugenics wars, but the Human Genome Project started in 1990. And it's all these weird, like, started looking at it going, oh my gosh, like if you look at the world right now and you take a look at what Star Trek said, these things sort of match up. And I know you can make anything match. But when it starts talking about the Eastern Coalition attacking the United States and Russia, and then you look at what Nostradamus
the great leader,
World War III,
the great
leader, the city burning, and all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, Star Trek. I mean, I pray that Star Trek didn't get it right. I don't want us to go through a world war in 5 years. But right.
It's literally 5 years away. It trips me out too. World War III in Star Trek lasted 30 years.
Yeah, 27 years.
Yeah, that is a proper world war. Right?
Well, it seems like it shouldn't last that long with nuclear weapons now, because usually nuclear weapons sort of end wars. But and if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But
I love how the war started in 2026 over the issue of genetic manipulation. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah.
The setup for this is so good. If you haven't seen the video, please go watch it. It's really well done. And Shane, who came up with this thing, he really put the time in. It shows, man. It's so good.
Thank you, man.
As someone who edited it, I thoroughly enjoyed it myself.
That's good. Yeah, and that's what we're going for. We're trying to find different, there's not a whole lot of new stuff yet coming out. So we're trying to find things that have never been covered before. And believe it or not, this is really something that's never been talked about a whole lot. There's not a lot of videos about this out there.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we got to kind of do it and do it in our style was super cool. And, we love doing Trek with you guys. And plus we got a chance to do this shameless plug here, that the Zephyr Cochrane commemorative design, which I really love, that we've got this, I don't own any Zephyr Cochrane shirts. And shameless. So, now I can do that. So that's nice.
Shameless plug. Yeah.
Hey, it's great. I just want to wear them.
In researching this though, there was this one character too that like we got at some point we got to talk about Gary 7.
We actually have. There's a video we did before when we did the whole time travel video.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were doing Discovery, Red Angel, or one of those videos. And we actually talked about Gary 7 in that video. So because that was time travel.
Yeah, but what trips me out is this guy, and I can never figure this out. He is human.
Yep.
And he's a time traveler, which means he's from extremely far into the future.
Yeah. So if I remember properly, somehow these people ended up in another planet far away.
Right.
And they're agents. And they basically try to fix problems in time.
Right. Isn't that sort of a bootstrap paradox, though? Like, he's trying to stop the nuclear missile. But if he stops the nuclear missile... How...
Is that what it was? It wasn't a nuclear missile, was it? Wasn't it like the moon? Wasn't it the moon?
No, yeah. So So
I got to go back and look at the episodes.
Kirk gets displaced to 1968, where he is trying to trust Gary 7 to stop a nuclear bomb from going off. But that feels like sort of a bootstrap paradox. If Gary 7 has to stop the nuclear bomb, how does he exist in the future to come back and stop it?
Well, he doesn't live on Earth, so
that's why. I see.
Yeah, he lives out in the galaxy.
I see. That it was humans taken from a long time ago, taken somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I would still like to know more about this whole. Like, it's weird. They have an apartment, and like an agency.
He's got one. It's got one episode. You can tell that it's one of those weird stories that they're like fighting to figure out how to fit it into canon, and it's hard to. They should go back and visit that in more Trek.
It's almost like they were like doing like a backdoor pilot. Like, can we also get a pilot series for this?
Yeah, I believe it was actually going to be something like that.
Right. Makes sense, because they had set up characters and a set. You don't normally make brand new sets for a one-off episode, right?
Yeah, but they had a shapeshifter turned in from a cat.
Right, I remember that. As a young man, I really remember that.
You were like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really into cats now.
I was just about to say something totally inappropriate. I'm not going to.
All right. So that is really interesting. I love the way you mix in the eugenics stuff, and I just think it's just so fascinating the way everything ties together. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Go watch the video. I tell you, Star Trek has predicted a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we're not saying they're actually predicting World War III per se. I'm just saying that there is a lot of coincidental similarities to things happening now that were happening at the same time in Star Trek canon.
Yeah. No, it's true. And, the likelihood of, well, I'm not going to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but watch it. You'll see how we wanted to come up with a likely story. And this is likely, it just so happens that, I was in the Navy and I kind of know a lot about the whole Chinese USA relation thing too. That helped. Spent a lot of time in the Pacific dealing with that stuff. So, yeah.
Great leader Z.
G, yes. Yeah.
G, sorry, I murdered that. Dude, when I saw the Nostradamus quote.
Right?
Thanks for watching. To see the full conversation, become a member of the Popcast family. Use the link in the description below or go to our channel and click the join button. Select your tier and we'll see you at the next show.